how do you think the changing exam system will affect students?
I think it will be of benefit to those students who are good at revising over short periods of time. However, I think that those students who perhaps get a bit nervous about exams and don't fare as well in exams will be a bit of a disadvantage, because the grading will now entirely be based on the exam as opposed to the coursework system and controlled assessments which you have in place now.
Do you agree with the changing exam system?
In some respects I do, because since I was at school 10 years ago when I took my GCSEs, there's been an increase in grades every year. So year on year GCSEs have got better and better, the results have. So in some respects I think yes, there does need to be a change, but it can't be done in the way that it was done in the last set of exams where they just changed the grade boundary. So yes, in some respects I think there does need to be a change.
Is there anything that you find unfair about the current exam system?
I think the current exam system is fair and it gives all students an equal chance, because it's based partly on exams and partly on controlled assessments. So I think it's mostly fair, the current system.
It's hard for teachers as well as students, but do you sometimes put your stresses onto students?
No, I don't think I do. I think even if you've had a bad weekend as a teacher, I think if you come in on a Monday morning, it's not fair to take out your stresses on the students, much as I don't expect my students to take their stresses out on classmates or me as their teacher.
There's a saying that as a student, you can only have two of the following: a sleep, a social life, and good grades. Do you agree with this?
No, I totally disagree with that. I think you have to be organised and you have to work hard as possible at school, but you need to enjoy yourself as well. I think you should leave at least one day where you don't work, where you just enjoy yourself, but work as hard as possible during the week.
What characteristics do you think make the best teacher?
Someone who perseveres and never gives up on their students. They do say that you should have a lot of patience as a teacher. I personally don't agree with that. I think having no patience with students works quite well, because they constantly ask the same questions over and over again, so you should cut that out. But yeah, perseverance and having belief in your students and having incredibly high expectations both of their behaviour and as what they can actually achieve as individuals.
For teachers in general, do you think that students' lives outside of school are taken into account even though they might have issues you don't know about?
Yes, I do think they are taken into account. There's a whole network of support staff that work with students and support them in their daily lives. And I know it can be incredibly difficult for students who have difficulties with their home lives when they come into the classroom to kind of distinguish between life at home and life at school. So I think there is support measures in place for those students.
We have a careers advisor to help students plot their future. There has been a mixed response to how useful they were. Do you think that students have enough information to set their mind on a career when choosing A-levels at only 16?
That's a good question, and it's quite difficult to answer, because students and young people in general often find it very difficult to know exactly what it is they want to do, and they can chop and change their mind. I certainly wasn't aware that I wanted to become a teacher until right before I graduated from university, when I did some work in a school. So I think the more advice students can get about what options are actually available to them, then the better. So I think students should have as much advice as possible to help them decide what they need to do.
You're quite a young teacher. How have GCSEs changed over the last 10 years?
Well, the biggest change has been the implementation of controlled assessments. When I was at school, you could take your coursework away with you, do your own independent work on it. You could hand it in, you could redraft it, resubmit it until you got the grade that you wanted. I remember I did a Shakespeare essay once and I kept getting a C grade on it, and I really wanted to get an A. So I redid it sort of 3-4 times and got teacher feedback, and then I got an A on it. Whereas now, it's one attempt at a controlled assessment within the classroom. So that's been the main difference for me.
The media is constantly saying that exams are getting easier. Thinking back to your exams, do you agree with this?
No, I don't think exams are getting easier. I think the reason results have gone up is because teaching methods have got stronger and they've got better. So I don't think exams are getting easier. I actually think that's a bit of an insult to all the students who've taken exams over the last 10 years. I think there was actually I think it was a professor of sociology who worked in a top university, and he said that exams are getting easier, and they asked him to actually take the sociology GCSE exam. I think he got a B, and that was a professor of sociology. So no, I don't think they're getting easier at all.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks very much.